Hello my dear health seekers, Inga from Health Origins here, and welcome to week 23 of Meal Prep for Weight Loss show. So today on the show I'll be making two very simple but yummy dishes. So one will be sweet potato and carrot curry, and the second one will be a simple Italian cabbage soup. So let's begin. So let's start with the curry. So this curry is gonna be mainly with carrot and sweet potato. So I've got my pan, my wok actually here, because this is the biggest pan I kind of have. So I'm using that. So I'm heating this up, and I've got two onions, so one white onion, one red onion, whichever onion you have will work for this. So I've got one onion, then I've got 2 cloves of garlic chopped up. I've got about maybe 5-6 centimeter piece of ginger chopped up small, and if you've got some fresh chili, use that, but I'm going to use some chili flakes. So my pan is getting hot now, so I'm gonna add my onions, and I'm gonna dry fry the onions for about 5 minutes or so before, actually I'll put the ginger in there as well. So ginger and onion, and we'll keep the garlic, because garlic burns much quicker, we'll keep the garlic until the end for the last minute or so. So basically we want to dry fry these for about 5-6 minutes, and if they start sticking, I'm gonna put a couple of tablespoons of water to deglaze it and keep on frying. And we're not going to put the lid on, just let it dry fry like this. So while the onion is frying, I'm going to quickly explain. So this recipe, I'm kind of loosely going by the happy pear recipe. I think they use the sweet potato, so sweet potato curry I believe it's called. However, they use a raw sweet potato, but I've roasted mine to quicken the process, and I didn't have enough sweet potato because you need about 750 grams of sweet potato, so I only had like half of a large potato, but the rest I put some carrots, so I roasted both first, and then I've chopped it up. So I've got these already ready to go, so they just need to really heat through, and it'll make the recipe even quicker. But if you want to use raw carrot or raw sweet potato, or a combination of both, then it'll need about 10-15 minutes to kind of steam with the lid closed once we add these. So I'll tell you when, but basically you'll need to cook these a little bit longer if they're raw. So the onions have browned nicely. It's been about 7 minutes or so. So I'm just gonna deglaze the pan a little bit, and we're gonna add the garlic. So this is 2 cloves of garlic. Actually it's like a fresh garlic, so it's actually 3 cloves, but you know how when the garlic is fresh, it's normally a little bit bigger in size. So I've added 3 cloves just to compensate. So we're gonna just cook it for another minute with the garlic. And actually I'm gonna also sprinkle some chili flakes, and I'm probably gonna put about let's see, about half a teaspoon or so, just a little bit. We don't like our food too spicy. So it's been a minute with garlic. I'm gonna add 1.5 cups of water. I'll add water now so that the garlic doesn't start burning on the pan. But basically we're gonna add all the ingredients. So I've got my sweet potatoes and carrots, roasted sweet potatoes and carrots. So I'm gonna add these in. I've got 1 tablespoon, heaped tablespoon of curry powder we're gonna add in here. Then I've got about half a can, or just like the cream of the top of the can, so about half of that amount of coconut cream, or you could use a full tin if you wanted to, if you're not really looking for a low calorie option, or you could go for a light coconut milk. But I just put about half of the cream off the top of the can. And then I'm improvising, and I'm adding red lentils. So the Happy Pear guys had cooked brown lentils, so a whole tin of cooked brown lentils. I haven't got any cooked in cans or on hand cooked, so I'm gonna just use red lentils, which cook really quickly. So probably cook within 10 minutes or even quicker. So I'm just gonna be adding them into this, and that's why I added 1.5 cups of water, just so that because the lentils will absorb that water, so we don't want it to get like really thick. In fact, we might need to top up with water a little bit, we'll see. There will be some liquid coming out of these spring greens, so I've got 1 bunch of spring greens chopped up as well, which we'll add to the top of this. So I'll just mix in the coconut milk in here, all the spices. It smells so delicious with the curry powder and the coconut milk, yum. So I'm just gonna add the lentils in here as well and mix it through. Yeah, so because you know that this is about a 3/4 of a cup of lentils, and that needs about 1.5 cups of water, and that's exactly what I had. So I might, you know, need to add a little bit more water in a bit, so that this curry has a little bit more liquid as well, if the lentils absorb quite a lot of it. So yeah, so I've mixed that in, and now at the top I'm just going to add the spring greens. So we're going to add spring greens at the very top, and you could use any kind of greens. You could use kale, you could use chard, or you could even use spinach, whichever green you've got to hand. So I'm using spring greens, and green cabbage will probably work as well. So I'm adding a lid, and I'm leaving this kind of on medium heat. Let it to get to bubble, and maybe reduce it a little bit and let it cook for about 10 minutes until the red lentils cook through. So let's check this. It's been 10 minutes since I've put the lid on. So let's see how it's getting on. Yes, so all the liquid got absorbed, all the flavorful liquid got absorbed by the lentils. And it's quite, actually I didn't reduce the temperature. So it's getting a little bit sticky at the bottom. So yeah, definitely reduce the heat a little bit to just low when you simmer this. So I'm gonna add probably about 1 cup or 1.5 cups of liquid here, so that we've got a little bit of liquid. So I've got nearly 1 cup of hot water here, and I'm just gonna mix it up. So yeah, so a little bit more liquid here, because if you're gonna eat this with rice or quinoa, or with some pita breads, you want a little bit of liquid. Yeah, so it's looking beautiful and it's smelling really good. So I'm gonna dish out a little bit and see if my husband wants to taste test it. So just do a little taste tester here. And we need to put a little bit of salt on this because we didn't add any to the dish. You can add maybe a good teaspoon or so to the actual dish itself, but we kind of tend to just sprinkle on our plates, and then we use much less salt that way. Mark is busy, so this time it'll be me taste testing this. So let me give it a try. Hot. Really nice. Got great taste from obviously the curry, the coconut milk. Can taste the lentils. It's really good. Does need some salt, but it's yummy. It's fairly hot because I put a tablespoon of curry powder, and also maybe about half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of chili flakes. So it's definitely got some heat, but it's good. Yummy. So now on to the next dish. So the second recipe is cabbage soup. I'm gonna be cooking this in my Instant Pot, but you can cook it in your regular pot as well. So basically, first of all, we'll need to fry a few base ingredients: carrots, onion, pepper, and celery. So for that, you know, if you've got a stainless steel pot, then that's great. You can get it up to temperature, do a water droplet test, and once the water is rolling around, you can start frying. I'm heating up my Instant Pot on saute mode, and it'll tell me when it's hot and when I can start frying. Or you could use, if you've got a non-stick pot, non-stick frying pot, then you can use that. So my pot is saying hot here at the front, so we're ready to fry. And we're gonna start with the Holy Trinity, which is onion, carrot, and celery, plus a red pepper. So this is 1 carrot chopped. So I'm gonna add that in, and you can hear it sizzling. So that means it's ready and hot. 2 carrots, so I've chopped them in like little quarters here. I've got half a red bell pepper. No, it's a pointed pepper, but you could use bell pepper as well. And then I've got 2 celery sticks here that I've sliced thinly. So we want to fry this for about 5 to 7 minutes until it starts kind of becoming translucent first, then it starts browning a little bit, and we dry fry first, and if it starts sticking, we can add a couple of tablespoons of stock or water, it's up to you, while it's cooking, to deglaze it, and keep on frying. So it's been 7 to 8 minutes me frying the base ingredients, and with Instant Pot you have to watch your pot like a hawk, because if you leave it for a minute or two without looking and stirring, it can just burn to a crisp underneath, and your kind of base is ruined. I've done it plenty of time. So yeah, so you have to really see. I've just kind of put some stock just, you know, a moment ago, and it's already starting to stick and caramelize at the bottom. So yeah, so you definitely need to watch over the Instant Pot, because the lining is so thin and it heats up really fast. So yeah, so this is ready. So it's kind of softened and it's starting to get a little bit of a brown color, caramelize. So I've added the garlic, 3 cloves of chopped garlic, and I'm gonna fry it for about a minute. Make sure you don't burn it because garlic burns really fast. So just gonna I'm gonna cook for an extra minute, and then we're gonna be ready to put the rest of the ingredients. I've got a tin of chopped tomatoes, so I'm gonna add this now. You just want the garlic to become aromatic and fry just for a minute here. I'm gonna just put the saute on just for another bit. So probably I cooked the vegetables probably about 10 minutes, to be honest, actually, because it was a little while. So I'm gonna add 1 tin of chopped tomatoes to this now, because it's been about a minute for the garlic. And we're gonna put the rest of the ingredients. We can actually give the tin a wash as well. I've got some stock. So I've got about 1 litre of stock, and actually it's a little bit less now because I've been using it to glaze the pan. So I might add a little bit more water at the end. We'll see how thick the soup will look. So I'm gonna just add that litre of vegetable stock. So that's just some vegetable bouillon powder that I've used in water. So that's looking nice. I'm gonna put, so what makes this dish Italian is obviously the addition of tomatoes and 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning. So it's got things like rosemary, oregano, basil, that kind of thing. So 1 tablespoon of the spices. Then we need half a teaspoon of, no, sorry, not half a teaspoon, 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper. So I'm using just the white pepper I've got already ground here, just to use it up really. So you could use black pepper, 2 bay leaves, putting in, and then we've got about 4 or 5 medium potatoes that I've chopped kind of in 2 centimeter pieces, so fairly small. And then the star of the show is the cabbage. So I've got 1 sweetheart cabbage chopped up here. I have quite a bit of spring greens and cabbage to use up, so I thought I need to make some cabbage soup. So yeah, so I'm gonna just put that in there. There we go. It's actually pretty full. Obviously it will reduce a little bit because you know, it will cook, but I've got 1/2 cup of olive brine because it has the extra saltiness. It has the sourness as well, so I'm going to add that for a bit of that kind of sour flavor, but you could use a little bit of maybe extra salt if you wanted to, or just leave it out and then see how much extra you might need to put in the plates. And I think I'm going to add about an extra cup of liquid just to make sure there's going to be enough liquid, because this is definitely much more cabbage than the liquid. So I'm gonna just add probably like I'll fill up the can of, so that's about, for I don't know how much it's gonna be, but I'll fill up that can for extra boiling water to add to this, so that we've got a little bit more liquid in the soup, because I quite like quite a bit of liquid with my soup, but obviously it's up to you. If you like more thick soup, you know, then you might be all right with this, or maybe if your cabbage is smaller, so you might not need to add extra water. So I'm adding extra water in here, and then I'm gonna close the Instant Pot and I'm gonna cook it for about 15 minutes. If you're doing on the normal stove, in the normal pot, then probably simmer it on low for about 25-30 minutes. This is the lot. So I've made quite a bit of soup, as you can see, the Italian cabbage soup. Then whatever is left over of my curry, so this is sweet potato and carrot curry. I had 2 bits of it, but we already had quite a bit of it. Then I made my red cabbage slaw, and then I also tried making Bosch peanut butter and jelly brownie, and actually worked out quite well. And I'll link to the video once I make the video for this. It's coming out actually on Wednesday, so you'll see that, but I'll link to the recipe. I'll put the recipe in for you for this one, so you can make it if you want to make it now. Yeah, so that is the lot. I will be obviously cooking some grain as well. I'll be cooking some beans, or maybe lentils and grain, so either quinoa or rice, or we have barley still, so I might be cooking one of these grains too. So let me know, which dish are you gonna try making? And for the red cabbage slaw, by the way, actually, I'm gonna link to the recipe because I already got a recipe for this on my channel. Let me know what you thought of the video. Give me a thumbs up. And if you're new here, welcome and subscribe for more videos just like this on Sundays, our meal prep for weight loss show, or on Wednesdays where we make other delicious recipes. And remember, food is fuel, so be mindful of what you put in the body. Until next time.